Guys, it's 2022 and it's time to finally upgrade your wallet. Our friends at Ridge are here to help you step up your pocket game because this incredible wallet, it's light, sleek, and industrial, and it does not awkwardly bulge out of your back pocket. It goes into your front pocket. Ridge wallets hold to 12 cards, plus all the cash you need. You can choose from over 30 colors and styles. That includes carbon fiber and burnt titanium. It is the best wallet you can buy. You don't just have to take my word for it, because there's over 30,000 five-star reviews. And I will admit, I was skeptical at first, but once I tried it, I never went back, and I'm confident you're going to feel the same. But there's no pressure. Test it out for 45 days. If you don't love it, send it back, get a full refund. If you decide to keep it, and you will, there's a lifetime warranty. Go to ridge.com/Chael. Use promo code Chael or just click on the link in the description below. That's going to get you 10% off with free worldwide shipping and returns. Islam versus Bobby Green. Here's what happened. Now, think about being in my shoes. Think about being an old shit. How do I get inserted into this wonderful evening? Well, I got to give a recap of the evening. And when a fight is as quick as a fight like that is, what do? And your eyes could have easily lied to you. Your eyes probably told you that Islam felt out Bobby. Bobby fought a good fight. Had his hands done, does what Bobby does. Eventually, Islam took a little ground, and Bobby backed up. And eventually, Islam took a little ground, and Bobby backed up. Eventually, Bobby hits the fence. Now, guys, when we talked about this, the only place that Bobby can't be is against the fence. I maintain for you that the boys that are coming out of Khabib's gym and Khabib himself are not the beautiful wrestlers that your eyes tell you. They have to do it methodically, starting with pushing you into the fence. Now, if any of that sounds like an insult, it's not meant to. The reason that's a surprise is the fence is a great place for defensive takedowns. If you're fighting a wrestler and you can put your back on the fence, the wrestler doesn't know how to deal with it. The rules in wrestling, just for example, force both guys to be going in a forward motion. A wrestler needs that push. He needs to change elevation. That's what he uses to get to your body. If you're backing up in wrestling, they call it illegal. So if a guy goes to the fence and settles in, it's a nightmare to deal with. I had never seen this before. I had never seen this technique done ever for the anti-grappler. I've seen boxers move backward. I followed Mayweather's career. I followed Sugar Ray Robinson. I've seen that in boxing, but that's not illegal. That's something you're used to. That happens all the way from your first fight through the Golden Gloves, all through your, if you had Olympic and world aspirations, off to the pros. You can go backwards. There's no stalling. Now in wrestling, there is. The first time I ever saw it wasn't even in a practice room. I was in a cage fighting Anderson Silva. I get my hands on the sumbitch. Every time I dealt with him the first time, he was coming forward. Ooh, that's easy. All I got to do is change elevation. He's coming right to me. He backs up. He sits into the fence. I can't get my hands around him. I'm trying to figure out this new position that I have never seen in my life on TV for a world title. And I will just tell you how confused I was. Now, once I started to learn what he was doing, once some guys started to do that and you break that down a little bit more, that entire position was still predicated for the defensive guy. So if you think I'm putting Islam or Khabib down, no. This is why it's such a surprise. They are putting their opponent in a defensive position. All the rest of us wrestlers and grapplers struggle to take a guy down when he puts his back against the fence. That's where Islam wants you. So if your eyes told you Islam just came out and tackled Bobby after a feeling out process, I'm suggesting you saw it wrong. Bobby knew this going into the fight. Bobby knew I could not let my back hit the fence. But so many guys will go into the fight with the Dagestanis thinking, and I've got to couple it like that because it's an entire team. It's an entire team who is innovating the sport. 5 and 10 years from now, that position might shock you that I'm identifying and talking about. We might even have a name for that position and some of the techniques and the drags and the trips that these boys from Dagestan are doing in that position, but we don't right now. This is new. When the defense came in, Anderson did it. It had never been done before, guys. I follow all the fights. I never see it in the practice room. Never as a viewer saw anybody do it. I have it happen to me. But that was in 2012. Now, that position defensively has advanced over the last decade. What I'm telling you now is the offense that's different. Now, Khabib he would entangle your legs. He would come right at the bend of the knee. He would pull you off. He would drop in. Ben Askren made me a video and sent it to me, showing me what Khabib was doing. And as soon as Ben told me, okay, great, I get it, and now I can go do it. Islam's doing the same thing, but not necessarily with the leg entanglements. He's using ways to get you off the fence so he can drop down. Tonight was a double leg, which is why I think you probably watched the fight. You just go, well, he took him down with a double leg. It's not. There's more happening there. It's very hard to get a guy off a fence once he goes onto it. So as much as I'm telling you in very simple terms, you don't have to worry about these guys as wrestling as much as it appears. Don't worry about keeping yourself off the canvas. Worry about keeping your back off the fence. I'm right. I'm right in telling you that. But where are you going to go? What are you going to do? The cage is 26 feet across. He's going to meet you in the middle. You're down to 13 feet. He takes one step forward, which is 2 feet, and you take one step back, which is another 4. You're 8 feet off the fence. Now, he can have you within 24 inches, which means you've only got 4 more feet to go. What do? That's one step back. So by the time you meet in the middle, it's 2 steps back till you're in what I'm going to call the danger zone. It's a very tough thing. It's why Khabib was so successful. It's why Islam is so successful at opponent after opponent, night after night, and round after round, getting you to that position. It is a thing of beauty what they're doing from there. I don't want Islam to get painted with any kind of a brush of being dull to watch. He could be dull to watch if and only if you don't know what you're looking at. I want you to see it for the beauty in the chess that it is. Islam and Khabib aren't going to deny this. If they were here right now, they're not going to say, well, Chael's wrong. We do our work right in the center of that octagon. No, they don't. They back your ass up first. And they do it with reckless abandon. They're coming in, they're throwing some of their most dangerous shots because they don't care if they land and they don't care if you counter back. They just want you moving closer to that fence, closer to that danger zone. Now, what we saw here, okay, Islam Makhachev took a lot tonight. He took a lot of heads. He took a lot of names. He took a lot of paper if you want to talk resumes. When you are in cage fighting, it is the ultimate poker hand in that you are all in. Whatever you bring to the cage is on the line. You bring a championship, you bring a beautiful record, you bring popularity, anything that you have and that you have amassed in your career, it's all chips in. You could be undefeated fighting a guy with 9 losses, and the guy with 9 losses is leaving with everything that you brought. So what is it that Islam left with tonight? Because there is not a question in my mind that guy can win a world championship. Can win a world championship and is going to be the world champion. You're splitting hairs here. But you will usually identify 3, 4, 5 guys. Aside from Khabib, who showed his separation from the pack, showed his absolute dominance, showed that nobody could even make it the distance with him, right? Khabib, night after night, is taking on the next best guy on earth. That we, the community, all stood back and said, right, night after night, that's who Khabib had to beat, and Khabib would finish them without losing a round. Aside from Nurmagomedov, where have we seen this level of domination? Because Bobby Green doesn't get made to look bad. Bobby Green doesn't get thrown down. Bobby Green doesn't get held down. Bobby Green doesn't get finished. All of those things happen to Bobby Green in less than a round. So we are looking at a domination like we have only experienced one time in the sport, which was by Khabib. Islam versus fill in the blank. He's down to 2 people, guys. It's either Gaethje or it's Oliveira. Do you believe either of those guys can stop the takedown? If you do you believe that they can get up off the bottom? They're very good fighters. But the X's and O's are complicated. Justin Gaethje, being as good of a grappler as he is, doesn't really know how to fight off his back. And I can relate to that too. I mean, I usually wasn't in that position. When you find yourself there, that's not going to be the biggest threat for a guy that gets on top. It's going to be very problematic. I did my best work staying off and staying up on my feet. And I'm only bringing myself into this because I'm not putting Justin down. I understand what Justin's doing. And I understand there's 3 places you can fight in. And in that order, you've got your favorite, but you've also got your least favorite. So let's just say Islam does get on top, which is probably going to be more difficult with Gaethje, but easier to keep him there. Now let's think about if it's with Oliveira. It's going to be easier to get on top, but with Oliveira's ground skills, you're going to come to the conclusion that it's harder to hold him there. Guys, Oliveira's going to let him. All the greats, even the world champions, make mistakes. And one that Oliveira will make if they fight is he will concede that position. He's not going to work to get up off the bottom. He's not going to scramble the same. He doesn't see that he needs to. It's the one problem having a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I do. I'm a promoter of jiu-jitsu. I love and understand the sport, but I also understand the history of it. Guys do not beat good guys from their back. I know you don't want that to be true. I know you want to offer an example. I know you want to, but Chael, you lost your fight from your back with Anderson Silva. It's all true, but that was in 2009. Royce Gracie himself got out of the sport when they put in a round system. Jiu-jitsu by design is not meant to finish fights in 5-minute increments. It's just not. So if Islam can get on top of Oliveira, who is currently the favorite to beat Gaethje, and Oliveira is going to play along by staying there, we don't even have to get into the advancements. We don't even have to get into Islam. Can he pass? Can he mount? Can he get side control? Now, if you can stop me right there, say, Chael, you're completely wrong. Oliveira is not going to go down easy, and Oliveira knows this and is going to scramble. I get it. There's a different conversation. That's why we go and have the fights. I'm just throwing a couple of what-ifs at you. Because there is not a very likely scenario where anybody, no matter their level of power or their level of rhetorical skill, is going to be able to explain how Islam Makhachev is not now the number one contender. I mean, you'd have to be one hell of a tap dance. I will stand back and I will study whatever it is you do. I have yet to meet a person who can speak well enough to try and explain how Islam Makhachev is not now next. So what do? You start to break down Islam versus Justin, and you start to break down Islam versus Oliveira. And those three guys are studs. They might all be able to beat each other and we get a round robin. My only statement to you is Islam can beat anybody. The other side of that, there's guys that can beat him too. Maybe. Nobody has whipped Bobby Green's ass. That's never happened. Nobody has thrown Bobby down and kept him there. Nobody transitioned to a mount with Bobby Green fighting and moving and doing all sorts of things in perfect shape, right? If this was round 4, this was round 5, we're not having this talk. First off, it'd been a hell of a contest had we gotten that deep, and we're going to give Bobby a pass because he was never in shape for rounds 4 and 5 anyway. That's what stepping in on short notice is. Guys, we're talking about less than 5 minutes. We don't need to pad this for Bobby Green. His stock goes up. He just got a main event. He just did something that nobody else was willing to do. He just came off the bench, changed his vacation, and got in there to take an opportunity. We love guys like that. There's no knock here on Bobby Green. It's not that Bobby's not as good as we thought he was. It's that Islam's better than we knew he was. That's what you saw tonight. It would be very unbelievable to me that any sports writer or any decision maker could come to any conclusion other than Islam Makhachev is now the number one contender.